Yeah. So today our agenda is first we'll go through that Sitecore PowerShell backup utility that I have created some time ago, and then we'll go over some important points in SP that will cover in Invoke-Script import module here string with parent switch and how we can mingle C# and PowerShell code in like one another like that. Okay, so let's get started. So what this utility does, actually what happens is I know have requirement where I need to switch my laptop or I have some no shortage of memory, and due to that I'm not able to have some important script that I have in my previous projects. So that arises scenario where I need some utility where whenever I want or I'm switching projects or no I'm removing some projects, so I should have some utility where I can choose whatever script I want to have a backup, and then I can keep them handy with me. So this utility does that particular task. So we already have it on the GitHub, so you can go over there and download the code and do whatever you want with that. It's an open source, and we also have a YouTube link for that. So it's the video related to this is already up in the air of Sitecore Discover channel. So you can go through that and just utilize whatever information you need on that. So let's have an you know feel of that. So is my PowerShell screen is visible, right? Sorry,
Yeah, we can
the
see the
Sitecore
Sitecore
one.
panel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when in the GitHub there is one package. So if you download that and like through installation, like here we'll go over here and then we'll through the installation we wizard will install that package. So it will create this script backup button on the ribbon of the developer tab. So what it will do. So once I click on that, it will give you the pop-up to select the scripts whichever you want to take backup of. So it will take a target then script library of our system. Now here you see here we have two options. Do you want to include subfolders or not? So if you don't include subfolders, so whatever script you want to choose, you have to do it by your own. And if you choose no include subfolder, so you have to be mindful. Let's say if you just clicked on script library also and the child also. So in that case, it will have a duplicate scripts in your next screen. So here, let's say we choose this and this folders. Currently, we have not included any subfolders. So yeah, that is fine. Now we'll see what comes next. So here we don't have any script in those particular folders. So again, we do that exercise. Yeah. Now let's say if we click this script library itself and we are saying that include subfolders. So what it will does. Now, now here we have all the scripts in our script library. So here we can choose whatever scripts we want. So let's say we are choosing some scripts, and here if you see we have script name and the relative path at the right of that particular script name, so that it will give you an easy way to identify a particular script. And then in the next step we have an option how you want to take an output of those particular scripts. So by default we have all these scripts in a single file. So it will have one text file which contains all the script which we have selected in the script tab. And here we need to provide the path where we are going to have our folder for script backup. So by default, it will have the path of your current Sitecore project. And here we can provide this folder name. So correct, by default, it will have SPE script backup. You can change that too. So once we click on backup, yeah, so it must have already no, created those. So let us see that. Yep. So this is our virtual folder for that, and it has created on this date, right? So we have chosen single script, so it created that. Now if we click that, so here you see we have chosen 4 script there, so it will give us all script details in one text file. So based on that, you can simply have all those backup, it's selected script backup, and then you can take it anywhere you want. Now here, let's say we again choose include subfolders. Now here, this time we have choose output a file for each individual script. So how many scripts we have chosen? So it will create a specific PS1 file for that. So let's do that. Now we have currently chosen 2 scripts. Now again we'll see a folder. Yeah. Yeah. So it has created 2 PS1 file over here, and each one is having the details. So yeah. So this is a single script file. So like this, we can do that. And yeah. Now the last option is the console one. So here, let's say I've chosen 3. Now we don't want, let's say we don't want to save it anyway. We just want to see the script details. That's it. So we can choose the option of output in console only. So it will give us the details on the console. Yep. So here you can see those details. Yep. So yeah, this is regarding this script utility. So you can use that anywhere you want. So just download that package, and we are good to go ahead. Okay, now come to the next topic, and that is related to some important point in SPE. So we'll start with Invoke-Script. So it's having alias, that is execute script. So both having the same purpose. What it does is it executes the script, PowerShell script. So let's say, we want to execute one script inside in another script. So we can use that. Although, I had one scenario where my script was too huge because I was doing all content migration of different sites. So we the need arises to segregate the scripts. So what I did is I created all the functional no thing at one script and then use that in the other script. So it gives an readable script for us, which give us more maintainable thing. So through that, we can utilize the SPE commandlet. And apart from this Invoke-Script, we also have some data source thing where we can just say dot and the script name. So based on that, also it incorporates that script in your current script. And like this is an example, like Invoke-Script, and then your script details the path of that. And here we are seeing verbose. So whatever is there in that script, so it will give the details on the command window. Now, the next one is import module. So, what is actually module is? So, modules are nothing but is intended to allow your shared code. So, it's a public entity. So, let's say we are maybe working on a huge team where we want some is centralized functions library kind of thing where each team can use that, or different projects can use that. So it's not bound to a single project. So modules is like libraries, so anybody can use it. So for that we can create the modules, and it's having a .psm1 extension. So uh, you know these can reside on your module folder. So by default, we have this program files, Windows PowerShell modules. So you can create your modules over there, or you can create your modules in your own separate directory. So if you do that, so either you can import that module using the path, or otherwise you have to update the path module in the environment variable to include your folder as well. So what it will does is, like, then it will automatically uh, you know uh, include that module in the memory. And if it is not there in the module folders of the environment variable, so you have to explicitly load that module. So we'll see how we can do that. And here, like, one restriction is there, like, if we want to create a module, so the folder name of that module and the file of that module should have the same name. So we'll see that. Let me share my. Yeah. So here, if you see, I have created one custom module. So here is the module name is test new. And if we go, so I have created one PSM file which is having the list of functions and members. So here we have the centralized position where it have all your function members or providers or anything else. And then we are exporting these members. So here is the variable, and here is the function which I am exporting. So here I have two functions, but I am exporting one and not the other one. So when we are importing that module, so we only have one function where which we can use it. And let's say if we don't give this phrase at all, so what it will do is it by default exported the function, but it don't export the variable. So that variable won't be available on your SP. So let's see that too. Yeah, see, just a minute. So see here, it's saving is loading the module and importing the function and the variable like this, and then we can use it like this. So it's saying hello from user group Jaipur. Whatever there in our functions, we can use that. Now we can remove that module from the memory using remove module. And if you want to see the variable value, so you can see here. So we have given these details over there. Yep. Now, any question as of now? Then we are good. And I had also written one blog related to same, which talks about import module and invoke script. So I have given link of that too over here. Okay. The next part is here string. So this exists in the PowerShell from long time, but somewhere we knew the latest thing, but we don't know the basic thing. So I thought to include this as well because it's really a very good thing to know about. So what is here string? So is here string is nothing but a way where we can have multiple lines of strings in one place, and for that we need to include that within this at the rate and quotes. So this is the enclosure for that. Sorry. So yeah, this is the enclosure. So the text should be there in between of these two symbols. But here these two don't have the same meaning. So if the things are there in the double quote or in the single quote, so it will have different purpose. For text, it will same. But for the variable expansion of the expression, so it will behave differently. So here if you say it can include text or expression as well, it also maintains the integrity of text. So that means like whatever, like let's say if you have a new line character or something else, so it will maintain that integrity. It won't change when you execute it. Uh, Now here we'll see that example. And one more point here is like we can utilize its output as an input to other CMD-lets. So, see, because we are having all like the text in a readable format in one place, now we can simply use other CMD-let like convert from CSV to generate the output in CSV format, convert from JSON to convert the output in JSON format, and like we can also output a script it that in a script file or something else as well. So let's see an example of that too. Yeah. So here see we have the example of single string and double quotes and single quotes. Here, these contain the same text, but when we execute it, see here in the single quote, uh, the variable value is not replaced with an result, but in double quote, it evaluated that particular expression. Now here, if you see, so here, like one is converting that into the CSV file, like this one, and the other one is the JSON. So it's converting the result into JSON, and see its beauty that we have the same name and city. So it appended that particular value in that column itself. So let's say if I run that individually. So here it's giving us name and city. That's it. So this is really a powerful tool, so that we should know knew it. So I thought to include that. Yeah. The next one is with parent switch. Although it's not that too big, but we should know that. And like it was not properly documented before, and that's why people don't knew much. And it was like recently updated in the documentation itself, because I had some query and then we went to the Slack channel and then finally it get updated over there. So what it does is let's say when you get child items, sometimes we have a requirement where we need the parent item as well. Otherwise, what we have to do is we have to do get child item, and then for the parent item, we have to do get item. So if we don't want a two different statement for the same path, what we can do is we can have that with parent switch. So just add over here, so it will return child as well as its parent as well. Okay, now the next one is how we can interchangeably use C# and PowerShell. So the first one is call PowerShell script command from C#. So how we can utilize the PowerShell script in C# code. So for that, first step is we need to refer this sp.co.host.dll. And previously it was named as cognify.powershell.core, because now in I guess from Sitecore 6 SPE 6 it's changed to SPE. Before it was no, recognized as Cognify DLLs. So if you are using the updated latest version of SPE, so this is the DLL, and if you are using old one, so this is the DLL to use the PowerShell script from C#. So first we need to include that. Second step is we have to create the script session. The third one is we have to like if we are having a script item, so we have to fetch that and its script. So we have to fetch that, and if you're not having a script, but you just simply want to execute some PowerShell commands, so you can do that too. So in that case, you can ignore this script and you can directly give the command. The fourth part is you can direct execute that particular script. So after that, you can utilize the result of that. Okay. So we'll see the example of it. So here, yeah. So the first part is we have to include that DLL. The second one is we have to create the new session of the script. So here now we have script session manager dot new session to create the script session object. Then the third part is we have to first retrieve that script item and then it's a script associated to that. Once we have that, we can call script execute part. So once we do that, we'll have the output. Now the output can be in two way. One is like that output is in as a text format in script output form, or you can have the list of object. So based on our requirement, we can do that. So it varies based on the parameter that we supply, whether it is false or true. So here, if you see examples, if we have given false, so what it does is it don't return the result in that object. Now here we can simply have a for loop where we say for each item, we are showing the details of that particular list of items. And here when we are saying true, in that case, like here, if you see, we don't need to provide any variable over here. We have the result in the sessions objects dot output property. So here we can for each row we'll have one value and we can iterate it through that and we can simply show that. So that was one example of calling the script item from the CMS. And if we don't want that, so this is an example how we can directly use the commandlet. So here we are using get process commandlet, and then we are having the where object over there. So we have this query and then we are saying it as an false. So we are having the result in the script result object. And now we can simply iterate all the processes one by one and show that on the UI. So like this, we can utilize the script in our C# code. Okay. Now the second part is how we can call our C# code from PowerShell. So there are different ways to do that. The simplest one is like you can simply call your class and their method name. So like if it is a static class, you can simply call like this, where is the class, your namespace dot class, and then the method name. Or if it is an required an instantiation, so we have to create a object of that, and then we can simply call that method. So now the second way is using the here string and add type. So how we can do that? So like in how we can also write C# code in here string variable, and for once we are having C# code in here string, then we can use add type to add that particular type in the PowerShell. And and like if we don't want to use here string, so we can also import a CS file which contains the namespace and class and all the functions and other things available, and then we can add the type of that too. And finally, the newly added type in PowerShell, just like we can use normal C#, like we have seen that we can use the C# method like this, so we can simply use this newly added type as an new type, and in the code we can directly utilize that. But here one thing is be cautious, as you can't alter the type until you recycle the apple. So let's say if you add something in the type and you want to update any function or variable details over there, so you can't do that. Either you have to recycle your app pool or restart your IS because it is there in your app domain. So we'll see one example of it too. So here you see here we are having this is here string. So here what we are doing is we have written one simple class and some function in that. So we can execute that. There is no error. Now we can add this type. We have added this. Now we can simply use that. So here I'm creating the object and then calling this. See here is saying hello ID, and we can see that here I am passing hello ID value this, and what it does is it convert that into lower string and remove that curly braces. So it's doing that thing. Now here, one is our simple instant function. Second one is a static function. So in that case, we don't need to create an object of that. Like we have talked about. So we can simply have this is a new type created, that is user group.jaipur, and here this is a method name. So directly we can call this static variable. See here, this is an static method. So like this, we can add type and then use that in the PowerShell. Okay. Yeah, so this is just an example of whatever we have seen just right now. Now the third way is commandlets. So we can create the commandlets in C sharp. Like we all knew that we can simply create the commandlets in function as well. But here we are creating commandlets in C sharp code, and then we can use that commandlet in PowerShell. So how we can do that? Again, we are having some steps to do that. One is we have to have a reference to system.management.automation.dll. The second one is we have to inherit the class from the cmdlet class. Okay, now the third part is we have to provide the proper name to the cmdlet, because that name is actually reflect on your PowerShell script in the module itself. Now the fourth one is we need to override the process record method, because that is actual code that is performed when you will call this cmdlet. And the last one is you have to finally import this module in the PowerShell and you are ready to go. So here, like we are having one example like this. So uh, similarly, like we have used this import module uh, where we have created that particular cmdlet, and then we are simply calling it like this. So we'll see that too. So here you see I have created three cmdlets over here. One is inside cmd test namespace, one don't have that namespace like this. And what happens is it's when we import that, so it don't depend on the namespace. It will show you all the modules one by one, and the name of that cmlet, it will be this commandlets like this. So it won't be like the class name, it is the command name that will give away. And like this cmdlets is like it's returning the object like this, and then we can simply query that. So we'll see an example of that. Yep. So here I'm importing that. So see here, it's importing three modules, cmlets, hello world 22, and like we have seen these three cmdlets. So it's importing these three, and through verbose, we are able to see the details. Now, when I call this, so it's executing that cmdlets, and here we have seen that get hello details. So this was the cmdlet that actually contains the list of objects, and we can do it on other cmdlets, so we can have a pipe separated things, and then we can query property based on this. So let's say if we are doing it over here. Yeah. So it's returning Scooby Dog. And if we see that particular CM delete, so here we are returning like it's having three list objects, and based on our query, it returned this particular object like this. So through that, based on our need, whatever that we are having different ways, so we can utilize that in our code. Yeah, so I have added some references to go through related to this details.